Hi, I'm Louisa Higgins and welcome back to Easy Arts for Everyone. Today we're moving in a different direction and we're going to do an art lesson that's STEAM based. And if you're not familiar with STEAM, it stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math. So you have that art piece that's embedded in all of what's going on with the technology and the math. So that's kind of interesting, that integration, and very important in day-to-day schooling because it really allows a place for arts and infusion into all sorts of content. And so we're going to use the math part of this lesson to create the structure of the art piece. And then we're going to use our arts focus to express ourselves through the colors that we choose and also the medium that we choose to create the art piece. So it's really an ideal combination of both of them. So as always, if you look at the table, I have just really inexpensive art materials and a selection. So there's choice. So I have markers, crayons, colored pencil, oil pastels. It would be helpful to have graph paper if you can lay hands on that, but if not, you can make your own graph paper by consistently drawing horizontal and vertical lines. I also have some watercolor paper here, watercolor pen, and brushes. So all of these things can be purchased at a big box store or at our office supply store. So I never buy the most expensive. I like to keep it really simple and affordable. You also want to print out, and you can find this on the internet, what is pi. And so pi is a symbol like this, or you look it up under PI. And so this is the one-page version. There's two-page versions, four-page versions, because pi is an incredibly long number. And it's a mathematical constant, and it's defined as the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter. So it comes out to be this number. So we're going to turn this into an art project. So I'm going to flip around my board here, and what I did this very large so you can see it clearly, is I'm graphing pi, I'm setting it up, and so I have an X and a Y axis, and I've done the pencil lines here. They're probably faint so you can't see them that well, but for every number there is a line that goes across. So I'm going to tape up pi here so I can see it, and then I'm going to go ahead and start to graph it as far as I can on this paper. So the first number in pi is a 3. So I'm going to go to the first square, and I'm going to go up to the 3, and put a dot, and then I have a 1, I go to the first square, then we have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, a little interesting to do this sideways, and then we have 1 again, next box, then we have 5, I'm going to come up here to 5, and the right box there, and then 9. So on this box, I'm going to go way up. So you get the idea. I'm starting to graph the dots. And then when I get done, I've gone all the way across my paper. I'm going to outline the lines, which you might not be able to see, and draw them in. And please forgive me if mine are a little wonky because I'm doing this sideways. So you start to get the idea that these create a geometric outline. And if I colored those in, and those were all dark, those make an outline that can start to look like what skyscrapers look like in shadow. So there's a couple different ways that I can go on to manifest this after I've graphed. So the first example that I would show you is done on graph paper, and on this one I used marker, and for every point that I graphed, every number that I graphed, I chose a different color. Now I did this random, so I had all the markers out on the table and then I just picked them as I felt like it. But you could actually do it more structured, and each number has a color assigned to it, so like 1 is purple, 2 is orange, and so on. So that's some choice that students have. And then, as you can see, it creates that cityscape look. And then I took it one step further, and I did a version using watercolor. So in this example, what I did is I lightly created my own graph on watercolor paper because I wanted to have like the best optimum surface to paint on. And then I lightly did a wash of purple and blue to create kind of a night sky, shadowy and sunset. Then I went ahead and did my graph, and when I was done, I filled it in with black marker. And finally, I add some yellow stars. So this one is the most realistic in terms of looking like an actual cityscape. So again, I encourage you to think about ways that you can incorporate art into other content areas. So in this case, math. So that integration not only reinforces the concepts that you're trying to teach, but it's also a lot of fun. So put the music on, have fun with art, and please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.